Welcome to Here's the Catch, the best, the greatest, the premier, preeminent podcast on the air.
Undoubtedly. We actually won a bunch of awards.
Unbeaten MVP of all podcasts. Today is March 29th. Today is Thursday, and that means it's podcast day. We've got a doozy for you, Cameron. What are we going to be talking about?
Obviously, well, not obvious. You could have missed it because there's been no tournament up to this point, but the Final Four starts on...
Which is weird. I thought UVA and Duke would make the tournament,
But, I mean, snubs?
Snubs.
All right, so Duke and UVA got snubbed out of the Final Four. I don't know why they put Loyola Chicago in there. We're going to be talking about that. We've got the first-team All-Americans. Opening day is today, so we're going to be learning about some baseball. Well, I should say Isaac's going to be learning about some baseball because he knows absolutely nothing. We've got a pretty fun segment planned for that. And we're going to get real religious, and we're going to give some advice to NBA players from Jesus.
All right. Let's get to it.
Here's the catch. Here is the catch.
The catch.
The catch. HTC. The NFL's trying to define what a catch is, but we already know.
Catch.
All right. Moving swiftly on. Isaac, who you got in the championship game?
Michigan Villanova. So I'm going chalky here, which is a little soft.
A little soft, but I think also just I think that pretty definitively those are the two best teams remaining.
Yeah, as far as
their matchups go.
I think they have right. I mean, here's the thing. This is like the thing that's becoming apparent this week. So this is no longer a hot take, but Loyola Chicago is actually like really good. They're running like super complicated high-level offensive sets, like scoring the ball like really easily and just look like a legitimate basketball team. I talked to someone who said that like they always got second in their conference behind Wichita State, and now that the Shockers are gone, they feel like they are the new Wichita State. Like they're going to be that mid-major program that is like consistently making deep runs and is really good.
Was this one person credible?
He said his brother goes to Loyola Chicago. So
so he
a homer
inside
pick.
Scoop. He has the inside scoop.
Yeah, he has the inside scoop. But the thing is, like, they haven't played a team as good as Michigan, especially defensively, where like Michigan put the absolute clamps on Florida State last week. There were like two shot clock violations.
Sure, but people forget that Florida State was shit too.
Florida State wasn't very good.
Like you can put some wins together in their upsets and stuff. Loyola Chicago has played nobody. Like they beat Miami, who was mediocre at best in the ACC,
and then
they beat Tennessee. Yeah, so like they had one good win against a Tennessee team that's probably the 18th or 19th best team in the country, and then everyone else in their bracket lost, so they just got to cruise in against other pretty shit teams. And then
they've never played a stretch five like Mo Wagner. They've never played a one-on-one defender as good as Xavier Simpson. This is by far the biggest talent deficiency they've faced. So it's tough, but then again, they're supposed to lose every game to this point, and they haven't.
Yeah, but there's also been a double-digit seed in the Final Four, something like 3 out of the last 6 or 7 years, and they always just kind of get crushed in this round. It's awesome, you've made it here, Final Four, that's sick. But then everyone kind of remembers that, oh wait, you're actually not that good. Because the thing, because there's no looking past them at this point. You're in the Final Four. I know that every team theoretically takes every game just as seriously, but I would find it hard to believe that, and it hasn't been so much the case this year just because they haven't played anybody to the level of Michigan, but in past years when when really good teams get upset by really shit teams, I think that it comes there is an element of overlooking, and there's an element of we should win this game. We are just better than this team.
By the Final Four, that means at the least you've had 4 days to game plan for this team. So that's when the Cinderella starts running into trouble.
Yeah.
What about on the other side of the bracket? What are you looking towards?
Other side, I picked Villanova in my bracket. and I'm gonna stick with that pick. I think that they were the best. I think that once UVA lost, I think that they were the best team in the tournament, and I think that they've continued to show that. I think Duke could have caused them problems inside, but I just like Kansas plays a similar type of game with the guards, and then they've got Azubuike inside, but Villanova's guards are just better, deeper, better defenders. So, they've got Wooden Award favorite Jalen Brunson. I don't see Villanova losing this game, and I don't see them losing to Michigan either in the championship.
Yeah, I'm with you. This is the first game. This is the first game where I'm not shocked if Villanova loses, because Kansas is a really good team. But like you said, they kind of match up similarly. They're two like jump shooting teams, well coached, smart, like veteran players. But Villanova is basically better at every single position.
Yeah,
and I think this is the point where like in the Final Four, the best team. I mean, the best player often carries his team to the championship, and Jalen Brunson's the best player left in the tournament at this point.
Yeah.
Like, pretty undisputedly. Like, maybe Mikal Bridges is also on Villanova, but, I mean, who was it? Last year, Joel Berry was probably the best player in the tournament. There's, Kemba, Shabazz, Anthony Davis. There's just a history of, like, the best player ends up winning at this point in the tournament because nobody else on any of the other teams, except maybe Malik Newman on Kansas, is going to take over a game the way Jalen Brunson did and has shown he can.
Devontae Graham is also phenomenal, but yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I just don't think that he's as good as Jalen Brunson. I think Jalen Brunson is the Wooden Award winner, and that'll shine through. I think Michigan had a pretty easy run to get here. I mean, they started to take care of business, and they did, so that's awesome for them. But they haven't beaten. They didn't have to beat UNC. They didn't have to beat UVA or Xavier.
Out of Villanova, but I agree. I think we're both looking at a Michigan Villanova championship with Villanova likely winning. It's kind of sad that we're chalky and agreeing with each other.
This is one of the few tournaments where I feel like only one of the top 6 teams in the country. Well, like. Kansas, I'm not sold on Kansas as being a truly elite team, and so I think that there's just only one truly elite team left.
Yeah, that's Villanova. Agreed, but crazy things have happened.
Crazy things have happened. 16 seeds have beaten 1 seed, so
that's actually never happened in the history of the tournament. So,
oh well,
20-minute coach of the year just broke.
Yeah, he is coach of the year. He coached his way right to a 20-point loss to a 16 seed.
Coached his way right to an outright ACC win and tournament win. What do you think about the first team All-Americans? They were Marvin Bagley, Trae Young, DeAndre Ayton, Devontae Graham, Jalen Brunson. Do you want to quibble with that at all, or do you think they got it right?
It's hard to talk that much shit about Trae Young because he did do so much, but Oklahoma was so bad.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm for Trae Young. He led the country in scoring and assists. And I think you just get on first team for that.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, fair enough. But the
swap I would make, and this is super close, obviously, but I think I would have switched Devontae Graham and Javon Carter. Javon Carter's on second team, and I would have just flipped them because they're two similar guards in the Big 12, both so instrumental to what their teams do. I don't think either team makes a trade between the two of them. I think they both believe in their guy. And I understand that you're going to reward team success, and Kansas was a better team than West Virginia. But I just think they have similar offensive stats with Devontae Graham having a slight edge, but what Javon Carter brings on defense, I think you just are afraid of playing Javon Carter less for Devontae Graham, just because you have to game plan for that. Nobody else is going to pick you up full court every single possession, and I think that's a unique mark that he's made on college basketball for 4 years. And should have been rewarded for that over Devontae Graham.
Yeah,
but I mean, he made second team. So I'm not too upset about it. I don't think that's a major snub.
Yeah,
I think he's getting the recognition he deserves.
Any big draft movers and shakers? Do you think after the tournament?
I legitimately think Bagley's draft stock should take a hit for not demanding the ball and scoring on Svi Mikhailuk in that elite game, because he just should have had such an advantage there, and he didn't take over the game in a way he could have against a guard.
Well, I'm gonna say this just from watching him. Like he's not really a give him the ball, let him go make a play kind of guy. Like he's so athletic that he can control the offensive rebounds. He can stretch it out and shoot, and in the open floor, he can dribble like most big men just cannot. But he literally has no right hand. I think that he attempted fewer than 10 shots on the season with his right hand. And he scored a lot of points. So that became obvious later in the year, especially in the ACC. Big guys were just daring him to go right, and he would go right sometimes, and still just finish with his left hand because he is super talented. But it's tough to be in the NBA as a solely one-handed.
Yeah, but I imagine he'll work that out. I imagine some NBA coaches will be able to.
Yeah, no, I mean I still see him as a top maybe like 7 pick.
Oh, he'll definitely be top 7.
Yeah, but
interesting, like him versus Jaleel, where Jaleel was so polished offensively, and him, like, you could toss him the ball in the post and he was gonna get a bucket. Versus what you're saying now, where like Bagley's not nearly so polished, but he's way more athletic. And I think at the NBA level, it's the athleticism that like projects or is like a little more important, at least from what we saw from Jaleel, and at a position where now if you're a slow center, you're just played off the floor. And Bagley's at least not a slow center, so like he'll find a spot.
I still think he'll be really good. I think that he has one of the highest ceilings in this class. But like to your point, I agree. I think that he should like.
But if he can't be a go-to scorer in the NBA and is definitely, at least right now, not looking like a defensive anchor, then like.
Oh, he is not good defensively.
Yeah, so then like his ceiling is a lot lower than it was in college.
Yeah. All right.
So fuck Marvin Bagley is basically what I'm saying.
Yeah, fair enough.
I'll get guy number 1 overall. Maybe.
Probably not. One guy I did really like actually was Robert Williams, the Texas A&M power forward, who he had the windmill dunks and those ferocious blocks and stuff.
Yeah.
He probably would have been a late lottery pick last year on the pure athleticism. And if he declares, he should be somewhere in that like 12 to 22 range again. And I actually really like him. I think that he's already a defensive stud. He led the NCAA in blocks per 36. Basically was being played like way out of position, just because of the way that the A&M roster was set up. He was always on the floor with another big man, or sometimes even 2 other big men.
Yeah, so once he has
some space, like I've heard projections, or I've heard the possibility of him kind of being the Clint Capella type on an offense, like just 4 shooters, and he's the defensive stalwart, and just like rim runners, like set screens. So that's the guy that I really like. I'd never heard of before the tournament, and really liked what I saw through the tournament, and I think that he probably helped himself out.
Yeah, I like that. And like I would take Clint Capella as the 10 to 12 pick now, because you're just getting like a sure thing. He's not a superstar, but like I'll take that.
Yeah. Well, and don't forget, the Rockets have only lost like 1 game with him, Chris Paul, and James Harden all in the lineup.
This is okay. We weren't planning to talk about this, but like I'm legit concerned about the Warriors now.
Yeah, with Steph.
All 4 of them out, and like Steph out until the second round probably. Like, because this is like, I think if they're at full strength, they're still better than the Rockets. But now there's no way they're going to be at full strength, just based on like chemistry and just like if Steph's playing a little tentative. So yeah. I don't know. Like it's becoming pretty close to a toss-up for me now between the Rockets and the Warriors coming out of the West.
I would actually give the Rockets the slightest of edges right now, but I will say that this could be huge for KD.
Yeah,
because
if he comes and takes over this team.
Yeah, exactly. Like the last championship was him like hopping on already like the best team ever. This championship, if Steph's hurt and he's clearly the main guy at this point, and I think Curry will be the main guy in the playoffs because Steph won't be 100%. this championship will be on him, I think, more than it will be on anything else. And he'll still obviously benefit from having a great team around him, but
yeah, I agree. He's going to have to put up numbers that he didn't have to put up last year. Even though, last year he was obviously phenomenal in the finals, but he didn't carry them through the whole playoffs the way he may have to this time.
Yeah,
it's a weird thing that I don't know. I think none of the four of them really want to come back and play on their own right now because they're like, what if I'm not as good as I look like when I'm playing with these other three studs? I don't know what Kevin Durant's injury is. Something with his ribs, and Draymond Green's got a bruised pelvis. Seems pretty soft to me. So slight theory is they're all scared to come try to carry the load on their own. They're going to have to do it as a package unit.
Damn. I kind of like that.
No Westbrook's out on these Warriors.
All right. Let's move on to some segments. Let's learn baseball, Isaac.
Yeah, we're gonna bring back Let's Learn Sports for its second ever segment. The way this is gonna work is Cameron's a baseball guy. I'm not so much a baseball guy, so he's going to run through every division in baseball. He's going to just list out the 5 teams in that division in order of their win projection, except that he's going to lie by at least 10 games for one of those teams. And if I pick the team that he lied about correctly, I win. If I pick it incorrectly, I will inhale helium and speak in my helium voice for a little while until the helium wears off, I guess. So should be fun. By the end of it, you'll know, and I'll know, the projected records of every teams in the MLB, so you know how they each project to do this season. Plus, as we go, Cameron will kind of spotlight the top players, top storylines to look for in each conference. So, pretty exciting. This is a good new segment. We're going to learn about baseball.
How you feeling? Do you want the AL first or the NL first?
Let's go NL. Let's go with the boys.
All right, we'll start with the NL East. So Nationals are projected to win the division with 89 wins. The Mets 82 wins. Then the Braves at 72 wins. The Phillies at 65 wins, and the Marlins at 64 wins.
Okay, I know the Marlins are trash. I'm gonna say the Nats are actually supposed to win 99, and you lied about that.
Nope.
Because the Nats are nice.
Nope. The Nats could be nice, but 89 is still a lot of wins.
So who's the team?
The team that I lied about was the Phillies. They're actually projected for 76 wins, not 65. 65 is really low, and the Phillies are supposed to sneak back up towards being not horrendous. As far as big storylines for this division, I mean, it's really the health of the Mets pitching staff. I mean, they've got Thor, they've got Noah Syndergaard, who really could be the best pitcher in this division, even with Strasburg and Scherzer on the Nationals. They've got Matz, they've got Harvey, they've got...
oh, shit. This is crazy. Wow. Rock Chalk Jayhawk. Let's go. Go Nats.
And then Jacob deGrom as well. So the Mets have really 5 starting pitchers that could be the best rotation in the bigs if they're all healthy, but they are like the Joel Embiids of injury risk and have never, as a unit, had a healthy season. Last year, they only had one of them healthy at a time. But they've got a true Cy Young potential winner with Noah Syndergaard and 4 potential studs behind him. So if they're healthy, then they could give the Nats a real run for their money at the top. All right, NL Central.
We're going to have to speed up because this balloon is rapidly deflating. I'm trying to hold it together.
All right.
We're losing.
NL Central, we got the Cubs at 94. We got the Cardinals at 86. We got the Brewers at 79. We got the Pirates at 76. And the Reds only at 58 projected wins.
Pirates. You went too high on the Pirates. They actually suck.
Nope, the Reds are supposed to be at 71, close behind the Pirates, not 56. Dude, 56 and 106, that'd be a really, really bad season.
That would be a bad record. All right, let me get this helium.
As far as storylines to watch in this one, it's...
Kansas out-rebounded Duke by 15 in their Elite Eight win. That is sick. All right.
Go Who's.
The Cubs, the question is, can they go back to their success from 2 years ago when they won over 100 games and ended up winning the World Series? Or are they going to struggle like they did last year? Last year they they were actually under 500 in the first half. I believe they were 43 and 45. And then turned around the second half and still made the playoffs and made some noise. But if they can kind of get all their things in order
with this time, so that's good for them. They're a little more motivated.
Yeah, you're right. All right, NL West. We got the Diamondbacks at 93 wins. We have the Dodgers at 81 wins. We've got the Giants at 80 wins. The Rockies also at 80 wins, and the Padres at 72 wins.
I think the Dodgers are better than that. I think they're like at 91, close to the Diamondbacks.
Yeah. I actually switched the Dodgers and the Diamondbacks. So the Dodgers are actually at 93 and the Diamondbacks are at 81. The Dodgers should be one of the better teams in baseball, although they did their Turner, their third baseman, Jacob Turner, was their best hitter last year, and I believe broke his wrist. He has some injury right now, so he's missing the first probably 6 weeks of the season. If he can't come back healthy and swinging and kind of get his time back, then that could be a big hole in the middle of their lineup.
And I'm not a baseball guy, but I know you got to be swinging to be productive.
That you're not wrong, dude. You are not wrong.
So, who is the worst team in the NL?
The worst team in the NL projected is the Marlins.
Marlins, got it. So, for those of you out here learning sports, our listeners, you ever want to say, oh yeah, the Marlins are trash? Now you can. You'll look smart.
Also, the Marlins already lost today, so they're on pace for an 0-162 season. That'd be the first ever.
The first ever. Yeah, there you go. You say, the Mets could really make a run this year based on the health of their pitching staff. There you go. You sound like a smart baseball guy.
Damn. Are you a smart baseball guy?
I'm a smart baseball guy right now because my voice is at a deep and nice baritone.
So, All right, Isaac. AL East. We got the O's at 89 games. We have the Blue Jays at 84 games. We have the Yankees at 82 games. The Red Sox at 80 games. And the Rays all the way down at 71 games.
Yankees were low. I think the Yankees are projected to do super well.
Yeah, I actually messed up all 5 of those teams, so you were not going to get that one wrong. But the Yankees are projected to be 95, the second most wins in the majors.
Here's the catch. Here's the catch. We are out here on Here's the catch.
You got it right. You didn't have to do that.
Wow. This is crazy. Okay. Here I am talking about sports. Baseball. What is the one to watch here, Cameron?
All right. If you have turned on SportsCenter once in the last month, then you will know
Grayson Allen trips people.
Well, that did happen. If you have turned the SportsCenter on in the last month, then you know that Giancarlo Stanton got traded to the Yankees from the Marlins over the offseason. He is either the best or the second best home run hitter in the bigs, and his partner there is also on his same team, Aaron Judge. So that partnership is going to be one of the most fun to watch this year in baseball. All right, Isaac, AL Central. Indians, 94. Twins, 81. Royals, 80. Tigers, 70. White Sox, 66.
Twins, dude. The Twins are worse than you said.
Nope, the Royals are worse than I said. The Royals are only projected to win 70 games, not 80. The Twins are supposed to be pretty good this year. They've got Byron Buxton, who's I'm not sure if this is his rookie year technically. Yeah, he is a young, exciting prospect to watch. He was the number 1 ranked prospect
best player in the NBA.
You can't even say that without laughing, man. You can't even say that without laughing.
Yeah. That was a quick one. I just inhaled that. It went straight in and out. Now my voice is already back.
Damn.
So, Byron Buxton, serious baseball talk.
That is a guy to look out for. And the last division is the AL West. I'm actually going to switch it up. Can you name the 5 teams in the AL West?
I cannot name a single team in the AL West.
All right.
Wait. Yeah, yes, I can. The Angels.
Okay. So the Angels are supposed to win 84. They're actually second, though. The Astros are supposed to win 100.
Oh, they're good.
The Athletics are supposed to win 80. The Mariners are supposed to win 80. And the Brewers are supposed to win 79.
I think that you're lying about the Athletics. I think Moneyball City, they're actually projected to win 140 games.
Well,
statistically, because Billy Bean is going to help them do that.
Okay, so you're right. The Athletics are supposed to win 140 games, but the actual thing I did there was I put a team not in the division in that division.
Yeah, I mean, I should have known, too, because you've named every single team.
Yeah, so the Brewers are actually in the NL Central. It's the Rangers are supposed to win 79 games. So if you have any more helium, hit the rest of that. Yeah. Take a fat hit.
What do we got? Nope. R.I.P. to the balloon. Let's do the backup punishment that we had on.
Okay. All right.
On backup in case of technical difficulties. I'm just gonna watch this highlight.
Wait, this is a new segment called Name That Game.
This is stolen. What has happened in Virginia? Flustered because of this persistent performance. Front of the corner, 3 more by Lamar.
All right. I just watched a UMBC highlight. They stole the ball and hit a corner 3 to go up 61-44 on the Who's.
But it's all right, though, because you guys came back, right?
Yeah, we came back. We're in the Final Four. Don't you worry about it. Go Who's. Who's don't lose.
Who's. All right, well.
So that was a good segment, and now we know a lot about baseball.
Yeah, I forgot to give some takes on the AL, so I'm going to real quick give one. Shohei Ohtani, the official MLB player of the Here's the Catch podcast, is starting today. Is starting on opening day. He's hitting 8th and DHing. So pick him up on all your fantasy teams. Play him.
Oh, how did they decide that? Is he a pitcher or a hitter or 2 different players? Or what are they doing?
I actually drafted him in a league, and he's a pitcher/DH, so you can either play him in your DH slot or your pitcher slot, but you can't get the points for both.
Oh, okay. I guess that's fair. Still. MVP picks, Cameron?
Oh, MVP. I'm going to go Bryce Harper. I think contract year, which I think is while the fact that he will be a free agent is talked about a lot, it's more about where he's going to go. And I think that people aren't talking about it enough that he's about to hit approximately 100 billion home runs because he wants to be paid $400 million.
I read real baseball statistic is, well, I don't remember the statistic, but by some percentage, baseball players statistically, sabermetrically do play better in contract years. They just for no reason except that it's a contract year, hit better. So, I don't know. They focus more. So whatever it is, Bryce Harper's due for 100 bajillion home runs and a World Series ring.
MVP. The World Series ring, I'll take it. AL, I'm going to go Manny Machado, and that's literally the exact same argument.
Interesting. Well, it's going to be Mike Trout. This is going to be the first time that I've bested you in baseball argument on our podcast.
It definitely could be Mike Trout. All right. Let's now move into a new segment called What Would Jesus Say? If you've been on the Twitter, if you've been on the medias, then you would see that a bunch of NBA players have been coming out with some hot takes recently. And then also some NFL guys have been reacting to the new rules there. And we're going to ask them, person to person, what Jesus would say.
So, for example, LeBron James this week, when asked after another huge game who he would take to MVP, he said, I would choose myself. And he went up and followed that up with the reasons why he would choose himself. Cameron, what would Jesus say to LeBron James after that hot take?
Well, Jesus actually also has voter fatigue, so he, like the rest of the NBA universe, knows that LeBron can't win it because he's the actual most valuable player, which means it would make way too much sense to give it to him every single year. So he, like the rest of the NBA voters, because he does have a vote for the NBA for the NBA MVP,
How could he not?
He would give it to James Harden.
Well, there you have it. Sorry, LeBron, but Jesus got James Harden. I mean, I just think, yeah, you're right. Like, LeBron's still the best player in the league, but he is actually not having a better season than James Harden. Yeah, and it's just like it's Harden's year in every way. The Rockets are running away with the West. The Cavs are like kind of struggling in the East.
Yeah,
he's just putting up numbers that no one's ever put up before.
It's pretty rare that, like, you know, team success hurts LeBron, but in this sense, it actually does hurt LeBron because team success matters.
So, agreed. And I mean, I think it's too late even. I think even if LeBron, because for the last month, he's been putting up like, I don't know. I think he might be averaging a triple-double with like 30 points or something. So even if he does that for the last 15 games, I still think it's too late. I just think Harden has such a huge gap opened up at this point. He's having such a good season now.
I think that Harden's locked it up. Like there's just no way it would change at this point.
I think there is no harm though in LeBron gassing himself. Like it's fine for him to come out and like just remind the media like I'm still LeBron and like I still think I'm the best player in the world.
I mean, as he should, and he is. So.
All right.
The next take that Jesus is going to comment on is when Gary Harris said that Jamal Murray and himself should be in the discussion for the best backcourt in the league. Isaac, what would Jesus say to that?
Jesus would say, first of all, have you seen those boys in Washington, D.C.? He would say, have you seen John Wall and Bradley Beal? After that, he would say, have you seen those boys in Portland? He'd say, you're not as good as Lillard McCollum. He'd say, not as good as Steph and Clay. He'd say, you're not as good as Harden and Chris Paul nearly. So, like, no. He would basically say, like, nah, sorry, Jamal Murray and Gary Harris. What you meant to say is, we are a very good and maybe overlooked backcourt in the NBA. But, like, you know, as Jesus, I got a little I'm less impatient than you, and he'll say, just wait a couple years, maybe you'll get there. I've been watching the NBA since its inception in zero
AD.
What's it called? AD, but like A NBA.
See, zero A NBA. Wait,
so he'd say, you know, maybe, but not yet. That's what Jesus says.
What year are we in A NBA?
I have no clue. I'm not a scholar in that way.
1946. So we are in 72. 72 ANBA.
Figure that out. I'm trying to get jobs out here.
Well, just don't send them this exact podcast. Send them to one of the other ones. Next, we're going to talk about how Ben Simmons was playing PUBG with Karl-Anthony Towns. It's PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds. It's essentially Fortnite, but different.
It's a video game for our less informed audiences.
And Karl-Anthony Towns was trying not to play another game, and Simmons asked him who he was going to play. And upon finding out that he was playing the Hawks the next day, he said, "Nah, you got plenty of time," insinuating clearly that you
Hawks are garbage. That's what he said. He said, "You don't need to sleep or prepare.
You just need to be alive in order to beat the Hawks." And then Karl-Anthony Towns went to score a franchise record 56 points and 15 rebounds against them. So not bad.
What would you say? He'd say, "You're right, Ben Simmons. You do not need to prepare very much to beat the Hawks." Although it was low-key a close game. It was just that it was not Karl-Anthony Towns' fault that it was a close game.
Yeah, but people also forget that even if the Hawks were up 2 with 4 seconds to go, they would have just scored a 3-pointer on themselves.
Yeah, because they are
tanking.
In full-blown tank mode. How many points would Jesus drop on the Hawks in their current state?
How many? Is this pre or post death?
Or I'd say pre. We're talking miracle Jesus. Water Jesus. Water into wine Jesus.
Jesus would probably drop 7. Isn't 7 a big number in the Bible? But then here's the other thing: he would have like 150 assists, though.
Oh, that is actually a great talk. Jesus is not a selfish
Not a
player.
selfish player at all. He's the Rajon Rondo equivalent of a player that could actually score, but just chooses not to because.
Let's peep this.
Ooh, how tall was Jesus?
5'1", 110 pounds.
Are you serious? 5'1"?
Well, it just says the average specs on a first-century Jewish male would have been 5'1" and 110 pounds.
Wow. And
but maybe Jesus was just like 5'4", and they were like, "Oh shit, this dude is big." And we kind of
what position so this kind of goes into the like Abraham Lincoln, MJ, LeBron debate for their era. Like what position would Jesus have played? Is he a stretch 4?
No, he's a point guard. That's what he's a run the floor.
Point forward though? Is he like a Ben Simmons type?
Well, he's 5'1", so probably not.
Well, we don't know if he's 5'1". You said he could be 5'4".
He could have been 5'4". I think he's one of those guys who does not conform to the positional spectrum. You know, he's the Giannis type guy who you can just plug in anywhere. He'll guard anyone. He'll
freak athlete.
Freak athlete. Just great player.
Well, my thing is, how much defense do we think he plays? Because I feel like he wants to give points to the other team too.
Oh, because it's rude.
Yeah, like a steal. Like
when you
steal.
Other teams lose is the thing that Jesus would have to figure out.
I think that Jesus might pull like a Sua Cravens and just retire.
The Sua Cravens is playing it. He got traded.
Yeah, like he might be convinced back into it. Like it might be a retire unretire thing. He has this big deal about like being killed and then coming back. So I think that's the like retire unretire type scenario.
All right. So now we've learned a lot about Jesus on this podcast. Last, what would Jesus say? I've got. In response to the NFL rule changes, this is a lengthy quote from our very own Josh Norman, friend of the program.
The best corner in the league, Josh Norman.
Best corner in the league, undisputed. He said, "I don't know what other way to say it, but this is football. I pray for the game and hope it'll still be what it is. It seems that our day, the game as we know it, is coming to an end. But really, we're all playing the game the way it's supposed to be played." Thoughts, Jesus?
I think Jesus is confused. I think Jesus needs like 35 minutes to break down this quote and figure out exactly what he's trying to say. Because we're all playing the game the way it's supposed to be played. Well, so that would be against the rules at this point, right? So is that how it's supposed to be played?
However the rules say it's supposed to be played, otherwise you wouldn't be playing football, you'd be playing something else. I think Jesus says, like fair enough, these rules have changed and football is going to change a little bit with it. But and also fair enough that Goodell is giving lip service to player safety, and he's done this every year with safety changes, and they just do not make a big impact. But that's the larger point. Is it's still just going to be football, and football is football. Guys will get hurt, and it's a fair point that players need to learn to tackle without using their helmet as a weapon. Their helmet needs to be a protective device.
I will say though that Jesus is definitely a big anti-establishment guy. And so I think he'd be with Norman on just whatever the league does is wrong.
Yeah, Jesus doesn't like Goodell, I'll tell you that.
Oh, Jesus is not a Goodell fan.
Or Snyder. Jesus does not like Dan Snyder.
Man, if only Jesus was the Redskins owner.
He probably would have a different name too.
Oh, we'd definitely have a different name.
Yeah, we'd have a different name. The Washington Missionaries.
I was thinking about a theoretical prop bet. Who... which of these events is going to happen first? The Redskins win a Super Bowl, or the Redskins change their name, or the calendar reaches 2028?
That is a good question. I don't think they'll win a Super Bowl with the current name. I just think that's a karmic sports justice thing, and they have to change the name. Will they change it by 2028? Yes. I think they will. I think Dan Snyder is just eventually like how old is he? He has to just sell the team at some point, or like
he's not old at all. He's like the second youngest owner in the NFL.
dude, doesn't it? Sometimes I get sad because I realized I've like co-signed a piece of my happiness every fall over to Dan fucking Snyder, and that just is a sad thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we should start like a kind of a teaching program in preschools everywhere before kids get into football, and we teach them about like owners and like what they're actually getting into. Because if I had known, I would definitely not be a Redskins fan.
Yeah, me neither. I would pick some other reason to link onto some other team. I just think
the Ravens are close enough. They won a Super Bowl. Flacco's elite.
The future of sports has to be that all players need to just like realize they don't need rich guys to own their teams. Like the players should just own their own league and then like set up whatever structure they have there, and they'll like make the money that they're actually earning by playing rather than having half of it go to owners. And in that future, the Washington football franchise becomes a dynasty, wins several rings with RG3 at the helm,
or Johnny Manziel. Johnny Manziel's making a comeback.
Oh,
sort of.
I was kind of confused why that was a big deal. It was just him throwing at a pro day at San Diego State, and all of a sudden people think he's back. Like, I don't know.
Well, the big deal is like that he's not an alcoholic anymore.
Oh, well, I guess that's good.
Which is, good for him. But I don't know if he can play football at NFL level. That's to be determined. But I give him a shot.
I'd give Kaepernick a shot first.
Shot first for sure, because he's proven to be a significantly better NFL player. But that's another discussion.
All right. Let's get into our last segment, the weekly this or that. Fortnite. Who would win a game of Fortnite? The NFL catch rule, and really the NFL rule changes in general, or the MLB rule changes regarding pace of play? Isaac, do you want to go first?
No, you have to go first. Let's flip a coin.
All right, I got tails.
Oh, it's heads this time.
Yes, it was definitely not fucking heads. Broken coin.
You open up.
All right, I'm going to go with MLB pace of play rules, and here's why. Number one, they're trying to speed the game up, which means we're doing a lot less camping in bushes. And while short term you might die sooner because you're not camping in bushes, you also get a lot more reps and eventually get better at the game to the point where you can actually win, like after you're not camping in a bush anymore. Secondly, MLB, while they are trying to speed it up, we all know it's a slow game. So you've got plenty of time. Like, what do you think the relievers are doing the whole game? They're just out there playing Fortnite Mobile, probably on their phones, something like that. So
there's a lot more lulls in the action in baseball.
They've got time to get you can usually get a full game in between innings.
But then if the pace of play speeds that up, that's less practice reps for the MLB players on Fortnite.
Yeah, but it's still it's faster by 8 minutes, but it's still a 3-hour long event.
Yeah, well, so is football, and players don't play offense, defense. So,
Ooh.
But I'll grant you that.
All right, over to you.
NFL rule changes will actually be the superior Fortnite player. They're all about player safety. Obviously, we've covered this. So, what is safety if it's not being killed in Fortnite? Right? They're going to hide in a bush. They're not going to tackle anyone. They're not going to kill anyone. But if you hide in a bush, your odds of making that top 10 in Fortnite are significantly higher than if you're running in there, guns a-blazing. So,
yeah,
the cowardly NFL way out is the better Fortnite strategy, I would argue. The catch rule, I pulled this up just now. The rule is that they have to get 2 feet in bounds. They no longer have to complete the catch through the ground, whatever that meant. It is 2 feet in bounds, make a football move, which is a third step, or a reach for the goal line, whatever, or the ability to make that move. That's the new language they've added in there. So here's what I'm doing as a Fortnite player. Get in there, quit the game immediately, say, ooh, my Xbox glitched, but I had the ability to win that game for sure. That's why the NFL natural is going to prevail in this argument.
Ooh, I've got another one, though.
What would Jesus say?
I've got another one. The MLB currently has a 90-second, it's like a pitcher warm-up clock, and in between innings, you have 90 seconds to get out there and throw your warm-up pitches. I believe in the new blitz mode, you also have 90 seconds before the storm shrinks. So they are very, very used to that 90-second timer, getting ready for it, staying inside the circle.
All right, so good arguments on both sides. Tweet us, email us, Skype us, Venmo us.
Ooh, Venmo us at Camderson, actually.
At Isaac ML.
All right, let's get into the grand finale.
So we're just going to run through super quick. Mine's going to be very NBA heavy because we haven't done a ton of NBA talking, but the topics we forgot to touch on during this week, I'll lead off. Jaylen Brown hit a game winner last night. Good to see him back from the concussion. Pretty cool shot. Good for him.
The very first pitch of the MLB season was a home run, so home runs are up this year.
Good. Dame, 41 points plus delivery of his baby in the last 2 days. Pretty cool. Shout out Dame Lillard.
The Astros, the reigning World Series champions, also hit a leadoff home run this year, so they will repeat.
John Wall, where are you at? We need you back. That's on my mind lately. John Wall is day to day, but it's time.
We definitely need him back. Derek Jeter was being interviewed, and he talked about how many new corporate sponsors the Marlins have. So Derek Jeter officially sold out.
Two big March guys. Kemba Walker became the all-time leader in Hornets points, so cool moment. And Trey Burke is balling on the Knicks. He dropped 42 the other night. March legends.
People forget that LeBron is actually the most valuable player, but that most valuable player does not win the award.
I made up two, but I was robbed 2 nights ago.
That was actually mine as well. Isaac got robbed. So, if you're listening, Robert,
you got any leads, or
give his shit back.
Someone pops up with an offer to sell you Xboxes, hit me up. Markelle Fultz is back. In other news, huge for the Sixers.
Did you see that Markelle Fultz in his second game back injured Joel Embiid though?
He hurt Embiid. So funny. The NBA is hilarious.
I love the NBA.
Yeah. Oh, and my final funny NBA thing is that Giannis and Stormy Daniels were the 2 features on 60 Minutes this week. Just a great pairing.
Do you see that Giannis didn't even know what 60 Minutes was until they contacted him to interview him?
I did not know that. He only knows 48 minutes. He only knows 48.
Yeah, he's a one-game player. Ooh, so watch out if we're going double OT, triple OT. Giannis probably not that good.
And I just remembered this. Anthony Davis yesterday tweeted a Twitter poll: "Should I shave my brow?" Just like 20 minutes ago, this poll closed. 51% of the 631,067 people who voted said yes. So if you listen to the Twitter poll, we're going to see browless Anthony Davis if he's a man of the people.
Do we think that he's going to shave the whole thing off or just the middle?
Oh, if he just goes zero brow from unibrow to zero brow?
I think he should get rid of it.
And just be like a Chris Mack type face guy.
What a look that would be. All right, that's all we got.
Catch us next week.
Catch us next week after we find out that Duke and UVA are co-champions of the NCAA March Madness. All right, peace.
Peace.